This is just ridiculous. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are so completely broken, they're so unfinished, that now hackers and modders are trying to fix it. And I have to admit, the patches they're releasing are genuinely repairing a lot of the problems that Game Freak created. But I want to talk about that. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I just moved into the bigger bedroom of this house, and so I haven't fully soundproofed. I'm sorry if you hear a little bit of an echo, but let's discuss this because honestly, I find the dumpster fire of Scarlet and Violet to be endlessly fascinating because the game is just such an obviously unfinished game. I mean, straight up, it hard crashes, there's tons of glitches. I mean, the amount of problems inside of Scarlet and Violet are simply baffling, and to be quite honest, I don't think this game is getting fixed. Perhaps the biggest aspect of debate inside the Pokemon community is how much is Game Freak really going to attempt to repair this? I mean, straight up, they've already sold the most copies of a Nintendo game ever. This is now the fastest selling Nintendo game of all time. And a lot of times, freaking Nintendo games are the fastest selling games in the world. So that means Scarlet and Violet, as broken as these are, as bad as these are, as much as these suck, they're now already in the first couple days some of the most successful games ever. They've made billions in the first couple days, and the games are just piles of code. There's just so many problems. Why is it that Game Freak would go back and fix this? That's kind of my thought. So a lot of people have decided to step in and try and dig through the code to try and figure out what it is inside this game that is specifically just so busted. So this is Game Banana. This is where people actually do a lot of stuff like modding, customization, programming games to make them run better, play better, stuff like that. Well, there's already a very active hacking scene for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, a lot of this stuff, these mods are not just about trying to get better Pokemon or stronger stuff. In my opinion, this stuff is genuinely making the game better. Now, I do want to be very clear. The way this works is that if you actually own a copy of the game and you use your own copy to make a digital backup and then you play that on your computer, that's totally legal. I mean, emulators are just a part of this business. And honestly, some of the stuff people are doing are very, very cool. Like this is one I saw. Designer clothes. People are actually going in here and creating completely, like, look, Versace clothes. This is a freaking Supreme. Like, one of the biggest downsides to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is the fact that the outfits suck. You're stuck wearing those stupid school clothes. So here, this is awesome. Look at that. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet drip collection. Very nice. There's also nice things that you can remove. Ed Sheeran singing over the ending credits. Look at this. This is actually really cool that there is just so many things. But one of the mods that personally completely blew my mind is this 60 frames per second for Scarlet and Violet. Now, I actually have a video here because it's really, really, really impressive that they got this to work in just a matter of days. 60 FPS mod. Now you can see here I said modders are once again fixing a broken game. Let's just full screen this. My recording software, I believe the thing that records the screen runs at 30 FPS. So I'm not sure, but even at 30 FPS, I'm sure you can see the fact that this is so much smoother. You can see down here at the bottom, it says it is docked. It is running at 60 frames a second. Look at that. And I got to admit, this looks great. Like, it's without any frame hitching and stuff. It's weird. I know sometimes specifically, I've noticed some weird Nintendo people act like frame rate and graphics don't matter, but this scene typically, this area right here actually runs usually at about 22 frames a second. So seeing it almost tripled in frame rate, this looks so good. It's so much smoother without all those frame hitchings and stuff. And I think it's ridiculous to me that we're having to rely on altruistic hackers to fix this game for us, but I do think it is raising an interesting question as to why is it that this game is so now definitely objectively unfinished. Pokemon Arceus, which came out a couple months ago, is much better off. Now, a lot of people seem to specifically be trying to hate on the Nintendo Switch. A lot of people are saying, okay, these mods, these obviously only run on a PC version, an emulator, like an upgraded Switch Pro digitally, basically, and now they can fix a lot of these problems. They can immediately, in a matter of hours, it seems, erase all these technical issues. I don't think it still specifically comes down to the Nintendo Switch. I mean, this thing is very outdated. You can see most of what I keep on my Nintendo Switch is just indie games like Dead Cells and Stardew Valley. But even despite that, I think the problem relies more specifically on Game Freak. I mean, just a bit ago, we had Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which was very big, very impressive. I mean, it was a little bit blurry visually at times, but that game ran at a solid frame rate. It managed to be a very expansive, very long, very good RPG. I definitely just don't get the vibe that this is directly a Nintendo Switch problem, and it really comes down to more the fact that, honestly, Game Freak just didn't finish it. Game Freak, I bet, and I've said this in videos in the past, I do feel like these companies at times look at the pre-order numbers and they realize that they're going to make a profit. I bet Game Freak saw that, I mean, it sold 10 million copies in the first 3 days. I bet they saw that they had like 7 million copies pre-ordered and they just released it. The fact that people are coming in here and having to retailor things like the gliding, people trying to freaking make like so many of these mods just make it seem like, honestly, there's work to be done. The game itself is just so glitchy that actually finishing it makes it look better. And it's weird because, honestly, I do think the core gameplay of Scarlet and Violet is fun. A major reason that this is just such a weird circumstance does come down to the fact that Scarlet and Violet are fun to play. I mean, the new Pokemon, the new gyms, the new open world style of it, the game itself is very glorious. I'm actually impressed about the fact that Pokemon can still be so fun this many years later. But I guess my problem just still comes down to the fact that this game, it's going to keep crashing. It's going to keep being limited. It's going to keep having the worst frame rate of any Nintendo Switch game because I don't think they're going to fix this. I don't think we're going to get a series of big patches. And they're already working on the next freaking Pokemon generation. Generation 9, Generation 10, all those stuff, they're already in the oven. They already have new regions, new code. I mean, they're already objectively, we know this, they're already working on that. They've moved on. I bet a couple people are working on Scarlet and Violet DLC. But now, if you really want the best version of this, the Scarlet and Violet Definitive Edition, weirdly enough, you're probably going to be playing it on your Steam Deck. But these have just been some off-the-cuff thoughts about the Scarlet Violet situation. What do you guys think? If you could, like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. You know what I'm going to do? Check this out. I'm going to do something I haven't done before. So this new room, you can see I'm still trying to soundproof everything. I put that box there just to try and absorb some sound, but I'm going to be putting I'm bringing back my game collection, my big, huge game collection with my thousands of games. I'm going to rebuild the gaming wall. So maybe we're going to do some chill chatting videos where I'm just sitting in front of the game collection like I did a couple of years ago before I had to move 3 freaking times. But seriously, I love you guys. Mods. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.